Today I will introduce one more important class of organic compound that is ethers. Okay, ethers are commonly used as solvents in most of the organic reactions, as well as the extraction purpose also. Extraction of organic molecules are usually carried out by using ethers only because of its inert nature. Okay, so they are most of the time they are chemically inert. Okay, that is why uh, they are used as an solvent for many of the reactions. Ether means it is alkoxy substituted. I mean alkanes, alkynes, and alkenes. Remember, okay. So it is a important class of organic compounds. So in this topic, I would like to cover the nomenclature, I mean brief introductions to this ether first, and soon after that nomenclature and the reactivity of ethers. Reactivity of ether concerned, I'll go through the cleavage, ether cleavage with halo acids like HI. Okay, so normally this cleavage takes place via SN1 and SN2 nucleophilic substitutions. Okay, so only these two types of substitution reactions are there. I mean SN1 nucleophilic substitution reactions, SN1 and SN2. SN2 means uh, this substitution takes place at less hindered side of ether molecules. Okay, so because here Walden inversions takes place as far as the stereochemistry of molecule concerned. So usually SN1, SN2 reactions are um, takes place on primary ethers and secondary ethers. Whereas tertiary ether concerned, it will undergo SN1 type of reactions because in that tertiary carbocation formations will be there stable. Reactivity concerns tertiary carbocations are more stable than secondary than primary. So in such concern, I mean the tertiary ethers, alkyl ethers undergo SN1 type of reaction. Uh, Primary and secondary alkyl groups undergo alkyl ethers undergo SN2 type of reactions. Okay, so these are the contents today I will present. So ethers are just I told alkoxy substituted alkenes, alkanes, alkynes. Okay, these are the compounds that contains a single oxygen atom. For that, I'll quote one example in the below of this presentation. So that was methyl propyl ether. Here, two substitutions are there. Okay, one is CH3 group substituted, and another one is propyl group substitutions. Okay, so these two are al I mean alkyl groups only. So that means oxygen atom is bonded to two alkyl groups. Okay, suppose if the substitutions like R1 and R2, this is called R1, this is called R2 substitutions. Okay, suppose if these two are identical like CH3 CH3O, okay, uh, they are said to be asymmetrical ether. If suppose if they are different, okay, if they are not identical, R1 is R1 and R2 are not identical. So in such circumstances, they are said to be unsymmetrical ethers. Okay. So only these two types of ethers are available. Remember, ethers are the alkoxy substituted. Alkoxy substituted means this one OR1 or OCH3. This is called alkoxy group. Substituted alkanes, alkenes or alkynes. So this is alkoxy substituted alkanes. Methyl propyl ether is there now. This is alkoxy substituted alkanes. It is because here it is um, I mean saturated compound. It is okay. Suppose if your ether is containing double bond character. Okay, if your ether is containing double bond double bonded substitutions. In such circumstances, they are said to be uh, alkoxy substituted alkenes. Okay, double bond is there, therefore uh, they are said to be a alkene type of um, group. It is so. Uh, this compound is named as allyl methyl ether. Okay, so this is alkoxy substituted I mean alkenes. Okay, suppose in your ether molecule triple bond is available. In such circumstances, they are said to be a alkoxy substituted alkynes. Okay, so ether can be represented as ROR dash or else R1O R2. Okay, where R1 and R2 may be the alkyl or aryl groups. Okay, when the two substituent groups R1 and R2s are identical, then the ether is called symmetrical ether. Otherwise, if these two groups are different, then the ether is known as a mixed or unsymmetrical ether. For example, diethyl ether. Diethyl ether means this one C2H5O C2H5. Two ethyl groups are substituted to the oxygen atom, central oxygen. This is symmetrical ether. Whereas C2H5OCH3 and C2H5OC6H5 are the unsymmetrical ethers. Okay, the symmetrical diethyl ether is commonly also referred simply as ether because of its wide use as a solvent for the reactions and extraction of organic compounds. It was also used as an anesthetic for over 100 years. Okay, ethers are distinguished from other organic compounds because they lack a continuous chain of carbon. Okay, remember this is about introductory part of ether. Introduction to ether. Okay, now on to the nomenclature. Ethers are commonly okay named by listing the names of groups attached to the oxygen atom and adding the word ether. Okay, examples are incorporated in this presentations. So here ethyl methyl ether it is. Okay, so as I said, ethers are commonly named by listing the names of groups attached to the oxygen atom. Here, uh, in LHS side, ethyl group is there. RHS side, methyl group is there. So therefore, it is ethyl methyl ether. Okay. In this LHS side, methyl group is there. In another side, vinyl group is there. Therefore, methyl vinyl ether. So this is alkoxy substituted ethene molecule. This is first one is uh, alkoxy substituted alkanes. Okay, this one is methyl phenyl ether. Here methyl group is there and another side phenyl group is there. Therefore, it is methyl phenyl ether. So ethers are commonly named, okay, by the listing the names of the group attached to the oxygen atom, LHS and RHS side of the oxygen. So make sure that you must be knowing the attached group on both the side of oxygen first. Okay, so then write the name. So ethyl, methyl ether, methyl vinyl ether, and methyl phenyl ether, like that. This is a common name. Suppose if we are writing the IUPAC nomenclature, it will be somewhat different than common name. Okay, IUPAC nomenclature names ether as a alkoxy alkanes, alkoxy alkenes, alkoxy alkynes. Okay, groups in the chain that has the greatest number of carbon atom is designated the parent compound. Okay, in the case of aromatic ether. So the benzene ring is the parent compound. So benzene ring is the parent compound in the second example. So therefore it is methoxybenzene. Okay. So here methoxyethane. So this is ethane functional group. So this is methoxyethane, methoxybenzene. Okay. Methoxy. This is methoxy group, ethene. Okay, so nomenclature is very one can easily write the nomenclature of ethers in both the cases, common name as well as IUPAC name. While writing the common name, listing the names of group attached to the oxygen atom and adding the word ether, okay, at the end. But as in the case of IUPAC nomenclature, so the ethers are named as alkoxyalkanes. If alkane group is attached to the alkoxy, then alkoxyalkane it is. Alkoxy group it is attached to the alkenes means alkoxyalkenes. Alkoxy group is attached to the alkyne means alkoxyalkynes. Okay, the group in the chain that has the greatest number of carbon atom is designated as the parent compounds. Okay, so then another type of compound like cyclic ethers are also be existed. So cyclic ether means oxygen containing ring system. Okay, normally called their common names. This is tetrahydrofuran. Okay, this one is 1,4-dioxane. Okay, uh, they are normally called by their common name only. Okay, so IUPAC nomenclature will not be used for the cyclic ethers. I think this is about nomenclature. So the one is common naming and second one is IUPAC naming. So common name concerned the listing the name of the group attached to the oxygen atom. Okay, then go for IUPAC concerned. Okay, names of ether will be given as alkoxyalkanes, alkoxyalkenes, and alkoxyalkynes. Okay, so like that we have to name. So then go for the reactions of ether. Although ethers are relatively inert towards the reactions, normally it will not undergo reactions easily. Okay, they usually shows good solvent properties for many non-polar organic compounds. So this strong dissolving power coupled with the low reactivity makes ether good solvent in which to run the reactions. Most of the organic reactions that are carried in the ether solvents. Okay, because it is inert towards the reactions. Okay, they are non-reactive as simply as says. Okay, they are inert. Okay, and acid catalyzed cleavage that occurs when hydro hyd, hydriodic acids HI hydrogen iodide, Okay, mixed with ether is the most significant reactions that ether experience. Only this type of, ether cleavage takes place in presence of halo acids. Okay, so this reaction proceeds via nucleophilic substitution mechanism. Primary and secondary alkyl ether, remember, react by an SN2 mechanism because substitution takes place at less steric hindered site. Okay, while tertiary and benzylic and uh, allylic ethers cleave by an SN1 mechanism because their stable carbocation formation takes place. Okay, so SN1 means um, it will take place in two steps. Okay, in the first stage, the carbocation formations will be there. Soon after that, nucleophilic substitution takes place. Remember, so it is possible only. I mean, tertiary. Tertiary compounds. Okay, tertiary halides undergo SN1 type of reactions. Primary halides normally undergo SN2 mechanism because it is, less hindered compound. So reactivity concerned as far as SN1 nucleophilic substitutions, reactivity I mean concerned, tertiary carbocations are more stable than secondary and then primary. So, tertiary halides or tertiary ethyls, substituted ethyls are undergoing SN1 reactions. Okay, so primary and secondary alkyl ethers react by SN2 mechanism. Okay, remember this is basic idea regarding the acid catalyzed cleavage that occurs when the halo acid mixed with ether is the most significant reaction that ether experience. Remember, okay. Will give you one example for SN1 and SN2. A typical SN2 reactions, okay, would be the reactions of ethyl isopropyl ether. Okay, ethyl isopropyl ethers. So this is ethyl group, this is ethyl group, this is isopropyl group. Okay, these two are substituted on either side of the oxygen. Therefore, it is ethyl isopropyl ether. Okay, so uh, this will undergo, cleavage reactions with hydrogen iodides. Okay, so the mechanism for this reaction will be like that. So this um, hydrogen iodide will attack on less hindered side. So here we have I mean distinguished the steric hindrance of the molecule. So this LHS side is more hindered, uh, whereas the RHS side is less hindered because only one methyl group is attached to the CH2. Here, two methyl groups are attached to this carbon. So, therefore, this is more hindered than this one. Okay. So, therefore, this substitutions, nucleophilic substitutions, HI, takes place on the less hindered side of this adduct. Okay. So, therefore, I mean, this type of isopropanol and ethyl iodide formation takes place during this cleavage of ether with hydrogen iodide. Okay, notice that SN2 substitution alkyl halide came from the less sterically hindered group, alkyl halide, okay, came from, because the inversion takes place during this SN2 mechanism. So, stereochemistry concern. So, the inversion of molecule takes place. Okay. So, then go for the SN1 type. As I said, in the SN1, stable carbocation formation will be there in the first stage. Soon after that, nucleophilic substitution takes place. Okay. So, therefore, reactivity of ethers towards HI regarding SN1 type of reactions. So, uh, that means tertiary compounds are tertiary ethyl ether, tertiary butyl ethyl ethers are going to, going to give uh, carbocations, tertiary butyl carbocations. Am I right or not? So therefore, the order of stability of carbocation concerned, tertiary carbocations are more stable than secondary, than primary. Remember. So this order will be there. Okay, during these reactions. Normally, the tertiary carbocation products are more stable than secondary and then primary. Okay, therefore, I have given this um, illustration also. So, the alkyl halide forms from the fragment of original molecule that forms the more stable carbocation here. So this is more stable carbocation in that. Okay. So thus the reaction of tertiary butyl ethyl ether with HI gives the tertiary butyl iodide and ethyl alcohol are the products. Okay. The following mechanism occurs in this fashion. Okay. So, as I said, SN2 reactions takes place the less hindered side, but SN1 type of reactions takes place via carbocation, stable carbocation formations. Okay, so this is what the reaction of ether with halo acids. Okay. And again, notice that if the original ionizations of tertiary butyl ether formed tertiary butoxide ion and ethyl carbocation, this would be the less stable arrangement. Okay, so ethyl carbocation means it is um, secondary carbocations. Am I right or not? Tertiary carbocations, tertiary butyl carbocations are more stable, will give you more stable product. Okay, rather than this ethyl carbocation. So that means order of stability of carbocation is tertiary carbocations are more stable than secondary than primary. So therefore this would be the less stable arrangement. So suppose if the original ionization of tertiary butyl ethyl ether formed um, I mean uh, tertiary butoxide ion and um, ethyl carbocation. Suppose if it is cleave in this side, it will be a less stable rearrangement. Okay, so if it is cleave in this side, it is a more stable arrangement. Okay, so that is what. If it cleaves, okay, RHS side of uh, oxygen, it will be a less stable arrangement. If it cleaves on LHS side of the oxygen, then it is a more stable arrangement. So this is about uh, I mean uh, cleavage reactions. Okay.